And now, here's your host of Shaping Success, Wes Tankersley.
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Shaping Success. I am your host, Wes Tankersley. Before we get to our guest today, I got a little information for you. If you want to check it out this afternoon at 5 o'clock Mountain Time, me and my friend Wise are going to do a podcast type show live on YouTube. So we're going to talk about helping and coaching and getting you into a podcast if you're interested in doing that. Also, we have some Shaping Success merchandise coming out. If you'd like to grab a t-shirt, hit me up, DM me. Wherever you find me on social media, you can hit that link tree. You can find stickers, you can find shirts, and all those other things to purchase if you're looking for some Shaping Success merch. So today, our guest is Dr. Anthony Cutting. He is a chiropractor in Meridian, Idaho, and reached out to me, and I just thought he had a great story, and I'd love to share it with you. So welcome to the show, Dr. Cutting.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
How's it going this morning? I see you got a nice flag in the background there, and you're just kind of, is this your office that you're at, or are you at home?
This is actually my home office.
Okay.
Yeah,
so,
it doubles as my homeschool room for my family, for my wife and my kids.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So you're currently a chiropractor here in Meridian, but you had a business that you had to shut down and start over again, correct?
Yeah, so we chose to close the old practice in Eugene, Oregon. So I had a clinic out there for almost 8 years, and we had a successful practice out there, but unfortunately, things in Oregon were just going the wrong direction. It no longer felt like a safe place to raise my family, so we made the decision to sell that practice and come out here last fall and start over from scratch.
So tell us a little bit about kind of your background and why you got into chiropractic. I mean, you have an interesting story of some things that happened to you when you were younger, and just kind of tell the audience about that.
Yeah, so my family, we first got introduced to chiropractic and started seeing a chiropractor as a result of my dad. He had a chronic low back issue, and he'd have these episodes, 4 to 6 times a year where he'd just be in agonizing pain, laid out, just on the ground, just couldn't move, couldn't function. Lived that way for many years. Then eventually he found chiropractic, and chiropractor was able to help him get past that to where he doesn't have those back episodes anymore. So that got us introduced to chiropractic, and I saw a chiropractor off and on growing up. And then things happened in my own life with my health journey, where at the age of 15, I lost the hearing in my left ear, and I lived that way for about another 6 years or so. Seemed healthy otherwise, but just couldn't hear on one side. But then around the age of 21, I started having other health problems happen. So in addition to the hearing loss on that side, the right one slowly started losing hearing as well. But alongside of that, I developed this dizzy vertigo spells where the world would spin out of control. I'd get this horrible ringing or tinnitus in the ears that could be mild, or it could be so loud I would not hear a single thing anyone said. I'd get migraine headaches. My whole body hurt like I'd been in a massive car accident, but I hadn't. Just felt like I was falling apart when I should have been at the prime of my life. And so I went on this just about 11-year journey of trying to figure out what was wrong with me, who could help me. I saw every type of doctor, practitioner under the sun. I probably spent hundreds of thousands of dollars over those 11 years trying to get help. Finally, 2017, I discovered a chiropractor named Peter Goldman out in the Bay Area, California. He was doing something called the zone technique, which was unique to me. Despite everything I knew as a chiropractor at that time, everything else I'd discovered on this health journey, this was new to me, but it sounded like he was doing some amazing things. So I went down from Eugene down to San Francisco to see him, and he saw me 3 days in a row. Even from the first visit, I started having less of the vertigo or the dizziness, and then each time I saw him, it just one thing after another started getting better. And so I continued to see him the next couple of years. I'd have to go for a few days at a time, and then I'd have to go back to Eugene, practice for a while, come back down and see him again. And that was my pattern. But each time I saw him, I was getting better and better, to where now I've gotten everything back with the exception of the hearing in the left ear. But to have everything else come back, I got to be functional again. I'm able to take care of my patients, my family, get back to being an active person, which I love to do, which is life-changing. So I learned the zone technique from Dr. Goldman, and that's the foundation of what we now do in our practice.
And it's crazy. I mean, I just listening to that's just kind of inspiring. Just thinking about like losing your hearing at 15. The nice thing about that, if you know, the good thing about that is you actually learned how to speak and do all those things before you lost it. So a lot of times I've noticed like people who have lost their hearing or didn't have hearing from the get-go, they don't know how to talk because they've never heard those sounds and things like that before. How has, you losing your hearing helped you more than it, I mean, I like to look at the good side of everything. So how has it helped you to be more empathetic towards those types of people or in your business?
Oh yeah, absolutely, it's helped me. So I'm a person of faith. I believe that God has a plan for everything. So that season when it was really hard, it was dark, but I also grew my faith. And then, as you said, in the midst of that, I've now gotten to understand when I've got a patient in front of me, somebody that's hurting, even if it's something different than what I experience. I know what it's like to be in a place where you're scared. You don't know what's wrong. You're looking for answers, and it helps me resonate with them, hopefully connect with them a little bit better, and be able to provide them some hope.
It's crazy too. The other thing that I want to talk about a little bit too, because I think that people see the end result. They don't see the process of what it takes. I know that you're growing a practice here in Meridian. You closed a practice in Eugene. What advice would you give someone who is, kind of not, I don't know, it's not really struggling, right? You're building something, you're building a business, you're building a clientele. You could easily just say, hey, I'm done with this. I can't do this. It's not going to work out. I mean, you obviously decided that you were going to move practices and build something else. Talk about that process.
Yeah, I mean, it was something I felt like we needed to do for a few years, but I fought it because we were successful. It had a good thing going for us in Eugene. But ultimately, as I said, I'm a person of faith, so a lot of time spent in prayer. And when I felt God was calling us to make that change, I choose to be obedient. So I feel if He calls you to something, then He's going to help you get through it, right? So that was step one. I eventually just said, all right, let's make this change. We did, and then a lot of it is just continue to trust that plan. And I'm a person of conviction, right? So if I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through with it, and I'm going to make sure that it works out. And so it's just continuing to keep that big picture vision in mind. And continue to just do the little steps each day. Don't get overwhelmed by the big vision. I mean, have your goals, write them down, have the things you want to achieve, be clear about that, but then break it down into the little steps each day. Take it one day at a time, and you do that, and come look, a year from now, 3 years from now, you'll look back and see how far you've really come.
I love that. Let's talk about that process a little bit, because I think that you talking about baby steps, I think that that's something that I talk a lot about. I'm on TikTok a lot, and I talk a lot. My videos are more like inspirational, like trying to help people find a way to build what they're looking for. And baby steps is a big one. When you start to plan for goals, can you kind of just talk about how you do that? Do you, I know you do, but just give me that process. So like you're moving here, right? Was Meridian where you chose first, or did you choose, or did you have like 3 different places you wanted to go, and then talk about the steps it took to get there?
Yeah. So we considered every state in the country. I was open to anything, but we quickly narrowed it down to the Treasure Valley area, or I was looking at Cheyenne, Wyoming. But that ended up being too cold out there for my wife in the wintertime. And then this Treasure Valley area provided what we needed as far as a city that was growing and people were coming here every day. It fit the conservative values that we had. It was still only an 8-hour drive to get back to Eugene or out to the Oregon coast, see my wife's family and visit out there. So it gave us everything that we needed. So that was step one, just deciding, okay, this is a good place. So then, we worked on getting the practice sold in that whole process. And then it just coming out here, we made sure to intentionally take some time off in between the old practice and the new, so I could recharge, just kind of decompress a bit. And I think that allows me to get the focus right where it needs to be for the next phase. And then at that point, during that time off, I started writing down, okay, the goal. What do I want the practice to look like? As far as the culture, the people, the systems we want in place. And then, okay, now what are the goals we want to have for 6 months in, a year in, 3 years, 5 years? Set that, and then I've got a lot of mentors that I've worked with over the years in the world of chiropractic, but also the world of business. So falling back on some of the training that I've done with them and using that to help set those goals and those systems. And then I've also met some new folks that are also helping me too. So I'm always all about getting in the community. So what we got here, establishing relationships as quickly as possible with other business owners, other professionals, and meeting people. And then you always can learn from everybody, right? So just being open-minded about what can other people teach you, asking about their journey, what worked well, what didn't work well. And that's been, I guess, the top things that we've done so far.
So let's talk about, has everything gone the way that you expected it to go? Or was there a time where you had to rethink one of those small goals that you had and adjust?
Yeah, it has not gone at all like I thought it would, which it never does. And so we got over here. I opened the new practice in October of 2021. And I was temporarily working in another doctor's office in Boise because my office that I'm in now in Meridian was a new construction, so it was getting built from the ground up. And we were supposed to be in there December 2021. So I thought, hey, we'll work temporarily in this other guy's office for a couple of months, get in our space and go from there. But of course, then we hit supply chain issues and permits took forever with the city of Meridian. So we didn't get in until May of 2022. So we just barely got into the Meridian space. So being in the other office, the other doctor was very generous, let me stay as long as I needed to. But it's not my own space, and, I think it definitely slowed the growth process, being in that weird in-between place.
So steps, I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand too, is that you may have to do something that you don't want to do for a little while to reach that goal that you want to get to. And so you had to make that choice that, you could hang out there for a little while and you had to hang out a little bit longer. Supply chain issues are nuts. I can't believe that because I deal with that every single day because I sell window coverings by day. This is kind of this is what I want to do for a living at some point. But, so now you're in your new office, you got it built up. And so you've been open now, you said May, so 2 months now?
Yeah. Just about, well, it was end of May, so a little over a month.
End of May. Yeah. So.
Yeah, end of May, yeah.
So how is that going for you? Did you get a lot of patients that came over from the other office that you were working in, or did you kind of have to sign like something saying, I'm not going to take these patients, I'm just here to work, or how did that go?
No, so everybody got to stay with me. It was my own practice just in his office. So we were two separate entities. So that was great. And it's actually was much more convenient for the majority of my patients. They said, "Oh, I'm so glad you're finally in Meridian." It was a trip to get over to Boise. So it's been a blessing for sure to get to the new space. And then we did some events when we launched. Grand opening party. Did some things through the Meridian Chamber of Commerce to hype it up and get out there, and got a lot of people into the space with those events. And I think that helped us get some momentum to launch. And we seem to be on a positive trajectory for sure.
How do you feel about like connecting? You talked about a little bit like building a community within the community, right? That's what you're trying to do. You reached out to me, which you're trying to connect, in this area as well, and trying to get your name out there. What with connection, you mentioned mentors, things like that. How do you view that?
So it's just taking the steps. So here locally, I've joined, like I said, the Meridian Chamber of Commerce. I'm in a business networking group, a BNI group. We meet every Wednesday, and that's been a great community. And then I go out and visit all the other chapters. There's about 14 chapters of the BNI groups here in Treasure Valley. So getting to know people that way. We got plugged into a church as soon as possible and met some great folks that way. I also got connected locally with a workout group. It's a group of guys it's called F3. We work out at different parks around town, always outdoors, no matter the weather. Ahead of it, get up early in the morning and just get after it, have a good time, and made some great friendships with that. And then otherwise, it's reaching out to people like yourself. I just, on Instagram, Google, Facebook, online, basically, I just look up who's doing cool things around the community and just try to reach out and connect and see if you're open to doing something like this.
Yeah, and that's great because I don't think that, one of the things that I've learned over time is I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and you never know unless you ask, right? And I appreciate you reaching out because I think that most people don't understand that that's what it takes sometimes. You have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to reach out to someone I've had some great interviews with people that I never thought that I would be able to interview just from a DM on Instagram. It's just a great way to do it. So what is your kind of marketing? I obviously I think that you're building relationships. And I think that that's what most people don't understand is that you have to build a relationship with your people. You have to build a relationship with your clients. You have to build a relationship with your community. How would you suggest that someone does that? I mean, is there anything that you would add to adding BNI groups and kind of just being part of the community?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, be willing to get out of your comfort zone and be friendly. Take that first step. Don't expect that everyone's just going to come to you. Now, I found in this area, a lot of people are really just genuine, awesome people, and they'll come approach me as well. But yeah, make sure that you take the lead on that, and then think about what you're interested in, and go ahead and plug into those groups. Maybe it's martial arts, maybe it's rock climbing, maybe it's art. Find out what you love, and then who's doing that in the community. Get out, make some friends, make relationships, and make it more about people and genuinely getting to know others and giving to them, learning about them, and not just what can I get from this. It's not take. It's give and be authentic. And I think that'll go a long way.
Yeah, and I deal with that every single day. It's like people, you want people to come back to you. You want people to, in the business that I'm in, it's a little bit different because they look at the big picture of the company. So you have to make that lasting impression in their mind about who you are, what you do, and plugging yourself into those types of things will get you the right people coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's definitely our goal with the practice is, we want to provide just an authentic, amazing experience for everyone that comes to our door. Let them know that they are cared for, that treat them with integrity, and just elevate that perception of chiropractic and what it could be for you.
Excuse me. So chiropractic is one of those things that I see a chiropractor and I understand that they're all a little bit different. I've probably seen 4 or 5 different ones over the course of my lifetime. Tell us a little bit about your practice and what you specialize in and what you enjoy doing.
Yeah. So in our practice, we provide solutions for active, busy professionals. That's beyond just the run-of-the-mill chiropractic. It's going to help give you those results to help you meet the demands of life. Do the things you love to do, the things you need to do more effectively. So we really love serving. I'd say the ideal demographic would be somewhere between the age of 25 to 60. And you're a busy professional, whether you're a small business owner or just you got a day job, but you'd love to be active outside of that. Whether it's running half marathons, hiking, playing sports, rock climbing, whatever. But if you're being held back by pain or something limiting you, then we're going to help you get those solutions, but in a way that fits in your busy lifestyle.
So do you only offer chiropractic services in there? Do you have massage therapists? Do you have, what are some of the services you offer?
Yeah, so we do a combination of chiropractic. So I do full body adjusting spine and extremities. I do a bit of soft tissue work or muscle work myself. It's not as extensive as a massage therapist would be, but more spot specific. And then after seeing me, we have a rehab area. So I've got an assistant that does our class 4 deep tissue laser, which is a great piece of equipment for decreasing pain and inflammation, whether it's an acute thing like an ankle sprain or whether it's something more chronic like arthritis or TMJ issues or a frozen shoulder. But then we have something called All-Core 360, which is a piece of rehab equipment that's kind of game changer for strengthening the core, the low back, the hips, and the pelvic floor. And it could be used for a wide range of patients, whether it's someone who's an elite athlete to say maybe a woman who's had kids, anywhere from 1 to multiple children, and she's now never had quite the same core or pelvic floor that she used to. It could be someone that's had a low back surgery, and then now we're going to help them recover and rehab post-surgery so that they don't have to keep getting multiple surgeries down the line. It could be people with spinal cord injuries and improving their quality of life, people with Parkinson's, MS. So it's a wide range of folks that we can serve with that. And we're the only ones currently in Idaho that have the All-Core 360, so it's pretty unique at this point. But as I said, doing all of those services together, we hope to provide more of a comprehensive approach. But yet, it's going to, all said and done, it's going to be maybe about 25, 30 minutes depending on what services you're doing, and then you're back on with your day. And then also, lastly, we'll give you resources that you can use at home. So we have a list of rehab exercises, videos that we've created that are specific to different conditions, and we will give you access to those. And it's got a plan. So each week by week, you're doing different exercises to build on the rehab component at home, and you fit it in to your lifestyle. Maybe it's after the kids go to bed. Maybe it's first thing in the morning before the house wakes up. You do it in your time. So in that way, we structure it to give you those tools, those solutions, so you are empowered to heal and get better, but yet fit within your busy lifestyle.
So it's not just coming in and just getting adjusted. There is steps that you can take as well to be an active participant in your rehab.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's great. So where do you see, now we're open for a month. You've got some clients that are coming in. Where do you see yourself in a year from now, 5 years from now?
Yeah. So Lord willing, a year from now, I'll be at the point where I've maxed out my capacity per week, and I brought on a second doctor, and we're starting to integrate them into the clinic and build them up. 5 years from now, hopefully we've got at least 3 chiropractors, maybe even 4 of us, and I've backed out just a little bit on my hours so that I can invest into them and help them be the best chiropractors they can be, but also hopefully better business owners. So my goal is not to have multiple clinics, but rather invest in different chiropractors, train them up while they're with us, and then if they choose to go start their own practice, then they can have the tools to do it in a way that they're going to be successful. And then I know they're going to pass on this model of serving the community with integrity and doing things the right way. So I'd love to be at that point where I'm starting to make sure I'm investing in them and allowing that to happen.
I love that. I've been reading Bill Walsh's The Score Takes Care of Itself for like the 3rd or 4th time. And I don't know if you read books, but he talks about like training professionals, and he talked about Ray Rhodes, who coached for the Eagles, at one point was offered a job with the Giants, and Bill was with the Bengals, and Brown, the owner of them, had held him back. He was telling all these other people that, hey, don't hire him, because he wanted to keep him for himself because he was selfish and he didn't want to share. Talk about like sharing your knowledge. You kind of talked about it a little bit, but it sounds like it's important to you to get the type of service that you have out to everyone, and you want to grow people.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to elevate the perception of chiropractic to let people know what's truly possible in life. But I'm just one person, so I can only see a certain amount of people per week without burning myself out, without sacrificing time with my family, without sacrificing that quality of care that I want to provide. So this would be the way that I could multiply my impact, right? It's to invest in others and have them go out and serve people as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things, like I was a teacher before, and it's like I can't stop teaching, but I'm just teaching in a different way. And I think that the more other people know, if they're always willing to learn, if they're always willing to work a little bit harder, the better off they will be. But they have to be willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell us where we can find you, kind of what you're doing. Do you have a YouTube channel? You said that you had some videos. Is that just kind of like a private list that you share with people? Or are you doing like YouTube, social media, those types of things?
Yeah, so the videos that we share with patients, it's on our website, and they are technically on the YouTube channel as well, I guess. But I have it listed on the website so that it's more organized and they know which exercises they do each week. But as far as social media, I've got YouTube, I've got Instagram, so Active Chiro Meridian. We've got a Facebook page, Active Chiropractic Meridian. So those are our main places that you'll find us online. Of course, the website, chiromeridian.com.
Okay. So chiromeridian.com is where you can find the majority of everything, and that kind of has all the other stuff on there.
Exactly. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, I'm excited to see why don't you tell us exactly where you're at so we can get those people who are in the Treasure Valley to come see you? Yeah,
so we're on Fairview, south side of Fairview between Eagle and Locust Grove. So you'll see the Pine 43 buildings over there and our big sign out there right on Fairview, Active Chiropractic Meridian.
Well, it sounds like you have an awesome plan. I look forward to seeing the expansion, because it sounds like you're planning to have more and more in there and build more and more. building people is really what it's about. And I appreciate that you're willing to do that and try and build some community here in the Treasure Valley.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely my passion. So I invite you to come by anytime to check out the place.
Yeah. So we have one last question before we head out here. You know, the show is called Shaping Success, and that name kind of stemmed from, at one point in my life, someone said, hey, you know, I'm going to be twice as successful as you when I grow up. And I don't really think that success is universal. I feel like your definition of success is different than mine, and we're trying to build different things throughout our lives. Can you tell us how you would define success?
I'd say success is staying true to your convictions, working hard, but keeping balance to where you're serving people and investing and making their lives better, and doing it in a way that feels authentic to you, so that you have peace each day, and focus on what matters in life.
Yeah, well, I think that you're following your passion. It sounds like an awesome story, and it's just begun. So I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. I thank you for reaching out and taking the time to sit here with me and have a little interview. I hope that you have a great rest of the day.
Thanks. Talk to you soon.
All right, everyone. That is the end of the show. That was Dr. Anthony Cutting. Check him out in Meridian. All the information will be in the show notes. Until next time, I challenge you to find the shape of your success.